Hi, it's Ted Helm again, and owner of Modular Designs, and I thought it might be interesting, or you might find it interesting, to hear how we got started and how we came to this position with Modular Designs. Initially, I actually came from Louisville, Kentucky, and where I attended the University of Louisville. I started working about the 8th grade in a janitorial business with my dad, and called Building Services, and did that through high school as well as college. Attended University of Louisville with an ROTC scholarship, Navy ROTC scholarship. Spent 4 years in the Navy as an ASW officer, then on board the aircraft carrier Forrestal. In my time in the Navy, we went through 2 different shipyard periods. I learned construction management in the old days, computer the size of this office, and the only way you could do project management at the time was do printouts that would go travel all the way around the room. I learned construction management. When I came back, I worked for my dad for a little while with Building Services, and then was hired by First National Bank of Louisville. First National Bank hired me as a construction manager, and I stayed there for 7 or 8 years and became vice president of corporate facilities. And in that, I was responsible for construction management, facilities, and pretty much any of the physical parts of the bank. We had about 1 million square feet. Had to build a new data center, so I learned a lot. I had a boss that was ahead of his time, developed furniture and space standards, and so I learned a lot. In that role, I also purchased a lot of steel case furniture, and so the steel case dealer asked me to come on board, and I did that. And I was a steel case dealer in Louisville, and then in Asheville, North Carolina, for I guess about 10 years. In my role as a furniture dealer, we did full service, and we often had to replace carpet in the office. We would, when the customers asked us to do that, we also painted, put wallpaper and that sort of thing. But when they asked us to do that, we would generally have to dismantle all the furniture, pack all the employees up. Most of the work was done on a weekend. Very disruptive process. And through several different sources, we became involved with our used lift company, a carpet lift company, and they came in and actually lift the furniture up, and we put the carpet in behind them and didn't have to dismantle the furniture anymore. After doing that, we thought we could do it as well as anybody. We were prolific in installing furniture. We knew how that worked, and we knew how important, I think just because my background as a facility manager, knew how important it was to keep the operations running. We certainly had to do that with the bank. So we did that for a while and became really, really good at it. I left to start a business in Nashville, Tennessee after several other things, and started from scratch. Didn't know anybody here in Nashville except the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Mike Rollins, who had been my president of my chamber in Asheville, North Carolina. When I started here, it was we were lined up with Milliken Carpet. We had done a lot of work with them. Their headquarters were in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Their manufacturing was in LaGrange, Georgia, and we had a great relationship with them. I was familiar with a lot of their carpet. They did some real special things with their products, and we became a partner of theirs. And so when we started in Nashville, I had just was working out of my apartment, and a small post office box, and we did our first work was with First Tennessee. We did some great work with them, learned a lot, bumped our shins a little bit, and then actually Milliken asked me to teach other dealers how to do this same thing. We developed a lift crew, and I had some experience, of course, in the office furniture business, and frankly, in the carpet business, in the occupied carpet, installing carpet in the occupied office, the primary objective is to have no disruption. It's assumed that the carpet will look good, and it's assumed that you'll do a good job installing the carpet. Neither one of those are givens. They take a lot of work, but frankly, they're behind the scenes. What we end up with each morning is a seamless transition from the old carpet to the new. Our first big job was with Nissan Manufacturing in Smyrna, Tennessee. Each morning I would go out and make sure that nothing was out of place the next morning. We soon learned that our lift crews, our lead installer would leave early so that they could arrive there the next morning, and that's become kind of our modus operandi. Sounds like a Navy SEAL, doesn't it? For now, so every morning we meet with the facility manager and make sure everything's just right each morning. That becomes real important, particularly when if a desk is out, if a chair is out of place, if a file cabinet's out of place, the end user really wants to be taken care of immediately. So it puts us in a great position, and it also makes us more and more aware of what the customer's needs are. What's really interesting is the crew chief, the lead supervisor, really gained a lot because he actually got a lot of kudos for what he had done the night before, and they didn't have much contact with the customer. So it's really evolved to something very, very special with our relationship with the customer. And that's where we are now. We've developed a relationship with dealers around the country, with end users around the country, and we're in a position now to either have a Milliken rep, contact the end user, or we also line up with other manufacturers as well. So we still specialize in replacing carpet in the occupied office. And that's the end of this. I know I can do this a lot better. Thanks.